Let's get into this conversation now. Abathembu King Buyelekhaya Dalindyebo is under heavy criticism over his controversial visit to Israel, which has been described as a deliberate campaign of political propaganda. The royal houses of Amandungwana and Amakriya, who are part of the Thembu nation, are calling for a meeting over the king's leadership and conduct. Let's talk now to Amakriya House's Inkosi Vulisango Banjwa, who joins us via the virtual platform. Mr. Banjwa, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. Let's understand why Abathembu are so angry about this visit by King Buyelekhaya Dalindyebo to Israel.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, Xoli, and your listeners or viewers. The Abathembu, especially Amandungwana, Amakriya, are so disturbed by the king's visit to Israel, especially the fact that when he's there, he endorsed the genocide against the Palestinians. Now, as a result of that, we feel like that we don't believe that King Buyelekhaya, with his lineage of Abathembu and also his upbringing from a home or from the nation that fought against the oppression, can go to Israel and say Israel is correct to wipe away children, women, and the infrastructure of Palestine.
I want to quote directly one of the lines in your statement, and I quote now, "This latest transgression is not an isolated incident, but the culmination of a pattern of behavior that brings the reputation of the Abathembu into serious disrepute." How big a damage has been done here?
It's a big damage. Remember, if we can count, this is the Israel scandal. Remember recently, the king has humiliated his brother, which is the premier of the province, when he was in Cape Town. He said that his buttocks will feed the pigs of Abathembu. Before that, everybody will remember, the king publicly denied his own child and said it's not his own child, it's Umkakwe. And according to our custom, that is very private. It cannot be something that you can put your child under such a severe stress, that of denying him, that is, you are his or your parent. But before that, again, we'll remember that the king has destroyed the windows, everything in the homestead, that is the kraal of Abathembu Bumbana. All those events are the events that has been unfolding and actually make you to decide, and you can see that we don't believe that the king of the Abathembu befits the stature of the throne that is sitting on.
Well, you see, that is now a major statement that you are making, because what it suggests is that there has to be some kind of a gathering. In fact, your statement says, consequently, we issue a call for a convocation of Abathembu. That's basically a meeting. Now, the question is going to be asked, who are Amakriya, who are Amandungwana within the bigger fold of Abathembu nation? How big are you, and how influential a voice do you have to call for such a meeting?
Thank you, Xoli. Amakriya, Amandungwana, Amadlomo, they are born by the same father, Nxeko. Amandungwana, Amakriya are one of the senior houses in the Thembu nation. Remember, Ndungwana is older to both of us, but is not from the great house. Amakriya, which is Uhlanga, is the great house of Abathembu Bakapomoy. Therefore, our voice is the real voice that need to be heard by Abathembu. There is nothing ebathenjini bakapomoy without undungwana, not Dlomo. Undungwana and Uhlanga.
Yes. And your statement concludes by saying that King Buyelekhaya is not bigger than Abathembu Nation. What is the purpose of that meeting? And in particular reference to the statement I've just read from your extract here.
All what it simply says that the king is the king by the nation and by the people. Even the inkosi is inkosi by the people. So you cannot have somebody decides on behalf of the nation. It is therefore paramount that let us all converge as all the houses of Abathembu, and then we can see whether is it beneficial for the Thembu nation for King Buyelekhaya to be still seated in that throne.
You're calling for King Buyelekhaya Dalindyebo to be dethroned. Is that what you're saying?
It is a custom, and it has been happening in many instances, even in the olden days. When the nation sees that the king or inkosi is straying away from the values and the custodians and the way how he conducts himself, it was so easy that the nation requests that leader to step aside and follow the tradition of putting somebody who will actually uplift the nation. So the nation must decide based on these events that I'm putting forward.
Finally, Nkosi Pantra, when do you anticipate this meeting to take place?
This is a first call, and our intentions now as Amandungwana is to roll it out. And remember, the very people who should be part and parcel and leading in this instance are the Amadlomo, where King Buyelekhaya is born. But now we're going to lobby them and try and make sure that they become part and parcel. Otherwise, what we're going to do as Amandungwana and Amakriya, we will say, he becomes your king. He's not the king of our nations because of all these instances that actually are putting the Thembu nation into disrepute. But we're going to roll it as early as much as we can.
Thank you very much for your time, Nkosi Vulisango Pantra. He speaks for Amakriya House, Royal House, that is.
The city of Cape Town has just